Welcome back to my channel. If you didn't know, I love plants so very much. You'll see a beauty or two in almost every single one of my videos, and I just love them so much. Did I say that I love plants so much? Because I love them so much. And at this time last year, I planted. Well, no. I filmed my first plant tour. That was a year ago and a lot has changed. Sadly, a few of them have withered away and crawled onto their deathbed, but a few others are thriving. I have gained even more plants, and so I just want to share them with you. And without further ado, let's get into this updated plant tour. So the very first plant that I have to show you today, this makes me so sad, but I'm starting with this dried up beauty because it was my all-time favorite plant, and it was Olive's too. She didn't dare touch it. I did not let her. However, she would love to have staring contests with this. She would love to watch the little leaves blow in the wind. Just an overall beautiful plant when it was alive.
Oh, Mr. Incredible, oh, Mr. Incredible.
This one just makes me so sad because it was so lush and vibrant and beautiful and healthy for the longest time, until one day I just started seeing little yellow leaves and they were curling in, and I was like, what? So of course I wanted to save this plant, and gross warning, bug warning. I'm warning you now, it's gross, it's bugs. I took this plant outside during the summer to fully inspect it. I dumped all the dirt out, and within the dirt I saw little squishy egg-like things, and at the bottom, as I got deeper, there were some grubs. I don't know when, where, how, who, what, when, where, why they got there. Obviously I overwatered it at some time. I don't know. So I removed all the soil, I cleaned out all the soil from the roots, I gave it a good hose down just to clear everything out. I dumped the old gross soil, I gave it new fresh soil. I did a little bit of hydrogen peroxide to clean the roots before I replanted it, and I heard that like really helps with cleansing the roots and everything and to kill any unwanted grossness. So I replanted it. It was fine for like another week or two, and then once again, it started drooping and crisping up like nobody's business. So yeah, it's just been dead. And then I kept it in my room for Halloween. You know, it's like very Halloween looking, right? And then I started to notice little flies in my room, little gnats. And so I learned this trick. It's a very helpful trick, and it actually does work. Steel wool. I'm gonna take it out now that the plant is dead, but I just wanted to keep it in here so I could show you. Steel wool, when you fan it out, you just put it on the top of the soil. This prevents bugs from getting in, and any bugs or eggs that are hatching in there cannot get out. I don't even want to know what's in here. I just saved this so I could show you for the plant tour. This just makes me so sad. However, it was about this time last year. Time do be flying, huh? I went to a giant greenhouse observatory and I saw an adult version of the ponytail palm, the elephant bush.
The woman was too stunned to speak.
I was blown away. I could not believe what I was seeing. I didn't take a photo of it. I was just in awe. The trunk was massive. It's no wonder they call it an elephant bush, right? It was massive. The palm leaves were so long and luscious, and it was so healthy, and I was like, I could have had that. I don't know about that big, but here's a plant that is thriving, so very healthy, and I'm very proud of it. She's doing beautiful. This is a jade plant. It's so beautiful. I didn't even write this down, I don't know why, but I'm like pretty positive it's a part of the succulent family or closely related to it. This might be one of my new favorite plants. It's so unique, it's so beautiful. I feel like we're on Felucia. That's a Star Wars planet. I was given a few cuttings from a relative's plant that was just massive. I'm so jealous of their plants, but anyways, now I have one. When I was first given the cuttings, each of the leaves and the stalks were so sticky, like a sap. I don't know if it was just like stressed out from being chopped off or something. I don't know. I planted them, obviously, and well, one of them just withered right away. It was too much soil. I think it was too moist. This is the perfect amount of like soil for this size of plant, I'd say. One thing I'm really learning and educating myself on each plant's needs, especially when it comes to how much soil that it really needs. I feel like for the longest time, I would put plants in a pot that was way too big, too much soil, too much space at the bottom for roots, and then there would be too much water sitting at the bottom. The roots couldn't even get it. It would cause rot, decay, mold, nothing good. But I think I'm finally getting the gist of it. But anyways, I'll find a before picture from these. These have grown so much. I've had them for 2-3 months now, I think. This thing has really grown, and I even put a few, I don't know if you can quite see, a few tiny little propagations at the bottom. I was not expecting those to make it, but they're both growing. So I'm like, okay, cool. This plant is no longer sticky or sappy, and as you can see, there's so much new growth on it. All at the bottom, all around, there's new shoots everywhere. I'm so very proud of this plant. And of course, as I'm researching every new plant that I get, I then see plant posts related to that online. And I saw perhaps one of the stupidest people ever on this earth. They took a video of their cat just chewing on this, playing with it, and they're like, it's so cute.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
These are highly toxic to cats and dogs. I hope that cat is okay. I hope it was worth the views, huh? Anyways, keep these away from your pets. One plant that I no longer have, I don't even have the deceased body to show you. That sounds, I don't know how else to word that. The dead plant, I don't have it anymore. It was the Gymnocalycium moon cactus. That's so sad. It was such a pretty plant, such a pretty cactus. I loved the color of the moon cactus. And then one day it just started looking really gross. It was rotting from the inside. I tried to do every single thing that I could to save it by chopping it off and propagating it. I couldn't save it, unfortunately. So she is no longer with us. You might recognize this beauty from the very first plant tour, and she was also in the thumbnail. But holy cow, this thing has grown like crazy. It's so very healthy, and she's doing great. I did put a new leaf in there. It looks kind of droopy now just because I literally just did it yesterday, but I can feel it becoming more hardy. The strength is regaining. But anyways, this plant is doing very good. There was like a new shoot that just randomly came out. This part is looking quite good. It's looking rather light compared to this. Like, this looks very healthy. That looks very healthy. I don't know. I hope it's okay. But this plant, along with every other single golden pothos that you will see today, came from one mother plant that we still have. She's not in here with us today because she's so big and she lives in the kitchen. And then I have 2 other pothos growing that are from the same plant, all propagations. I was about to say all doing very well, except that when I was bringing all the plants in here today to do the tour, I saw that with one of the pothos plants, there was a crap ton of mold at the bottom of the nursery pot. Like, just through the holes I could see little fuzzy mold. That's very unfortunate. However, it is currently sitting in a window and it's very cold out, and it's just a lot of trapped moisture, and that's my bad. I should have been paying attention to it. I can definitely save it. I just need to switch out that soil. It's gross. But every other pothos plant, golden pothos, is doing very good. Another golden pothos that I do have that's doing very well, it's up on my dresser right now. I can't move it because if you saw my 50th video that I made, then you'll know that I made a DIY UFO grow light, and that is sticking in the plant. I can't move it, otherwise it's gonna be a whole lot of dirt everywhere. I don't feel like messing with that right now, so here's some B-roll. The grow light has helped so much. Oh my god. Every plant that I have that sits around that grow light is growing towards it. Everything looks so healthy, so green. Why did I say green like that? so green. But that was a really good purchase. Secondhand, only $8. And then I made it into a UFO, so now it's really cute. You should watch my 50th video. So I have the pothos vine plant, and then I recently got another plant which I thought was also a pothos. This one in particular is called a philodendron Brazil. I do have some of my golden pothos mixed in with it. This one obviously not doing well. It's just gonna die away. But anyways, all these cutesy little leaves right here, that is a philodendron. So very cute. I got this clipping because I propagated it from a beautiful palm plant that I had that was given to me because someone didn't have room for it, and I'm like, I do. No, I didn't. I don't. I just take plants because I'm like, girl, I need to stop just taking plants. I believe that plant was shown in my What's in My Purse video or some video that was around that time, but it was a beautiful palm. I loved it so much, but I couldn't keep it because it's toxic to cats. I'm not even gonna risk that with my baby girl Olive. So I took a cutting of the philodendron that was growing throughout it, and I'm like, I'll take that before I sell the plant, you know? So yeah, I've had this little guy growing in here for about 4 to 5 months, and it has looked the exact same. I read that it has the exact same conditions, growing conditions, light, watering, as a golden pothos, any pothos plant, but it hasn't grown, it hasn't died, it hasn't withered away, so I guess I'm happy with that. These little guys here are just like, I don't know, they just don't want to become leaves. I don't know. Please grow. I want to see you growing. I'm gonna keep researching about the philodendron, but I don't know. I really hope it thrives because it's so pretty. The variegation on this is just out of this world. By the way, if you didn't know what variegation is, it is the light and dark striping on leaves. Here is a fabulous example on a snake plant, and you will see it on many more of the plants that I have to show you today. But this is a beautiful example, and it's only that one leaf. So I want this to grow. I want more. Please grow. In my first plant tour, you would have seen a beautiful rubber plant. It was not thriving whatsoever. It was very leggy. It wasn't getting enough light. It certainly was not getting enough water. I just was neglecting it. I didn't know how to care for it, and I guess I just didn't bother how to look up how to care for it. I don't know. But now I just chopped it up. It was so leggy, as you can see, like all those leaves were gone. It was so leggy to the point where it would like kind of tip over, and I'm like, girl, I'm not risking that. So I chopped it off and I stuck 2 of the shoots in water. They seem to be doing very, very good. They're very healthy, very crisp. The variegation on these is just so, oh my god, look at that. And I love how waxy these leaves are. I just wanna take a bite out of them, you know? Are these toxic to humans? I don't know. So I chopped up the rubber plant and I put them in water, but also some of the giant leaves that had previously fallen off, I just plopped in water. Now, these have been in water for just about a month now. I have not seen any sign of root growth. I don't know, although these are very healthy. Like, I just want to take a bite out of them, you know? They're so crisp and crunchy looking. This is just gonna be a video of me questioning if I can eat every plant. But yeah, I've had this sitting in light, just sitting in some water. They're doing good. Hopefully they grow. And I do have another propagation of those that are in soil, and I will show you those at the end because it's a few different plants mixed in, and I just don't want to spoil anything. So let's move on to the next plant. The next plant is the Norfolk Island pine. If you saw this in part 1, episode 1, the first plant tour, I don't know. It has certainly grown, as you can see. I'm so happy with this. It's like really filling in on the bottom. There's so much new growth at the top. It's so healthy. I really think that I need to repot this. There's just so much. I don't want this to tip and fall. But if you can see there at the bottom, there's just not enough soil at the base. It does need to be watered. I know that. I just didn't want to water it and then, you know, have this being 2 times the weight. This is already very heavy as it is. But I'm so proud of that plant and she's thriving, honestly. And oh my gosh, again, this past year, I guess I was on my plant grind, I guess, but I saw an adult Norfolk Island pine. It was in an indoor plant shop. It was huge. Obviously it's a pine tree, so it's big, but like only ever seeing baby versions of that plant and then seeing the adult one, I'm like, it was so beautiful. The leaves were so soft. I just want to lay on it like a little fairy. But yeah, that guy definitely needs to be repotted. I don't know if it's root bound. I don't know. I need to check it out. A lot of the plants here, I really need to look at the roots. Guys, actually this isn't a plant tour, it's a workout video. Oh my god. This is the Dracaena, what's this? Dragon plant. I mean, hello? It's so heavy on its own, but also, little fun story for you. This past summer, I was on a walk, and at the end of someone's driveway, with their trash bins and garbage bags and whatnot, I saw this pot. It's a beautiful ceramic pot, beautiful glazing. Are you kidding? So I lugged this home with me, and I put this plant in there right away. I love this pot. It's so pretty. It's very heavy, obviously, but it does have a drainage hole at the bottom. I don't know why you'd want to get rid of this pot, but hey, now it's mine. Anyways, the plant in this is the Dracaena dragon plant. I keep wanting to call it a snake plant. It does kind of resemble the snake plant, but obviously not the same. Anyways, this was in my very first plant tour, and it has grown so much. I went back just yesterday to watch the plant tour just to compare the sizes of everything. I'm blown away by the growth of this. Obviously, as you can see, the leaves at the bottom are kind of not doing the best. But I then learned that I was really underwatering this plant. I don't know why I thought it was one of those plants that just stores all the water within the trunk, stem, whatever. No, it needs constant moisture, so I will be watering this much more frequently now. But I'm just so impressed with this plant. The variegation on this plant is crazy. It's so beautiful. It has like a beautiful warm moss green. It has like minty and then forest green. It has white, yellow. I've never seen anything like it. I love this plant so much. So beautiful. And now that I know how to water it, hopefully it will thrive even more. I mentioned my 50th video, and if you watched it, you'll know that I actually put the UFO in a different plant now. It was originally in this beautiful Zanzibar green, more commonly known as the ZZ plant. Oh my god, I'm just so... There's a dead one in there. There used to be 3 shoots, and then it just withered away. The other 2, they're doing like pretty okay now. I just saw a fly crawl out of this. Oh my god. This plant has given me so much trouble. This is the trouble child. Oh my god. Me? No. But, oh god. I have not seen any growth from this plant. I've had this plant for over a year. One of them just died away. I haven't seen any new shoots, no new leaves. This is literally supposed to be one of the easiest plants to care for. Every other person that I've seen who has one of these, their plant is thriving. There's new shoots, new leaves. It just, I think I'm going to get rid of this. I hate to say it, but it takes up so much room. I know I need to get a smaller saucer thing, whatever, but it just... You know, I don't know. I think you're going to find a new home soon. On a much higher note. Oh my god. A sandhill crane just flew overhead. Anyways, on a much higher note, here's a plant that is thriving and doing so much better than the last time you saw it. This is a Cardero cactus, and I will include B-roll from the very first plant tour because holy cow, the difference is... what? It really was on its last limb, on its last leg, whatever. It was turning purple, turning brown. It was not healthy at all. I don't know what I did differently, just all of a sudden it was like, hey, I'm gonna be on my health grind now, and I'm like, okay, go for it. But it's a beautiful dark green. Look at all that new growth on the top. I know you can't even like tell a difference, but there's just so many new shoots on this thing. Like, it's so healthy. I don't want to tip this, but the little shoots at the bottom, those used to be so tiny, like they were literally just like a little cylinder or a little ball, but now they're like actually gaining height and everything. But yeah, I'm just impressed with the color of this thing. It did not look good before. In my other plant tour, I had a white fleshed pitahaya, which is a dragon fruit. That was wild to learn. You can kind of see it right there. She isn't dead. Is she alive though? I don't know. She just fell over one day and kind of crinkled up. I watered it. This is still fine. I don't understand what's happening with that, but she's still alive. I'm just gonna keep it in there so maybe they can be like little buddies, give each other good vibes, like keep on going, you know? I don't know. That's my thought. I'm just so impressed with the growth on this. Like, I'd want to eat that too. The next plant that I have to show you is the crown of thorns. No. I just saw another fly out. I can't. This is not my plant, so I'm not going to take credit for the terrible state that it's in. I really think it needs to be repotted. There's not enough soil in there. This ain't even big enough for the nursery pot. However, this is a plant that never stops blooming, and that is, I just love it. We always get beautiful, vibrant flowers like that. So pretty. I don't know if you can quite see right there. Oh my god, it's windy. There is some new growth at the top, but those are just new flowers. It hasn't grown in height at all, and I was like, oh, is this thing just like done? It's just done growing? But no. Here at the bottom, I discovered there was a new shoot growing out, and even on this side too. Yes, there are a lot of dead leaves on this. Again, I don't take credit for this plant. It's not mine. If it were mine, it would be in a much healthier state. But I still wanted to show it because I showed it last time, and I think it's a rather beautiful plant, very unique. And if you want a plant that does not take up too much space and that is constantly flowering, I would recommend the crown of thorns. Obviously it's winter right now, so I prefer to do my planting and repotting outside. I mean, it's just, obviously I'm not going to do that in snow, so I'm gonna wait until the spring. And then I'm just gonna dive into each of these plants and see if they're root bound. There are rocks at the bottom of this nursery pot, so that could very much have something to do with the lack of growth, lack of health. I don't know. Let's move on to another plant that makes me more happy. Hello, remember when I said that the dragon plant looks like the snake plant? They're both Dracaenas. Anyways, you will certainly recognize this. It's in the back of almost every single one of my videos. This was featured in the very first plant tour, and I wrote in my notes something that I have to retract because as I was just rewatching the first plant tour, I did not notice how much this thing has grown in height. There are a ton of new shoots. It's just, oh my god, there's a ton of new shoots. I'm gonna have to do some B-roll because there's no way that I can tip this without spilling all the soil out, but there are so many new shoots in here. That's wild. And I just recently added felt to the bottom. I don't know why I didn't have felt on the bottom of a ceramic thing. Anyways, it's still rocking the same pot that I got for only $4. Let's go. And yeah, I did put it in a slightly bigger nursery pot this past spring just to give it a bit more room. And maybe that's why I finally have more shoots in it now. So it's doing very well. And I'm very proud of this plant. I'm doing very good. I'm not gonna kiss it because I have lipstick on, but... So in my very first plant tour, I showed off a few flowers that are unfortunately no longer with us. One of them is the Orpine sedum flower. I love that flower so much. It blooms throughout summer into late fall, starting from a beautiful dusty blush pink into like a deep, almost magenta, depending on how much light it gets and everything. It's just such a beautiful plant. It does smell like farts though. But yeah, I tried to propagate that and I had it in a pot that didn't last very long. It probably just because it was already winter time and it knew that, hey, it's time for me to stop growing. And so it just died. And then I also had a few mum propagations and they were growing roots. They were doing very well, but then they just died. The very next plant, you have seen it this entire video. This, oh god. This is a Monstera adansonii. In my first plant tour, I called it a Monstera deliciosa. It is not that. Fun fact about the deliciosa, it actually grows fruit, hence the delicious sounding name. That's so cool, but this is not that. It does not bear fruit. It's more of a vine type of Monstera. Comparing this to the last time I showed it in the other plant tour, holy cow, it's doing well. One thing though, it just isn't very full at the top, so I'm thinking, because obviously it's becoming quite long, I'm just gonna propagate it, maybe do 2 or 3 different chunks and just stick them in there. I just want a full plant, and then I could have multiple vines. That would be so pretty. But this plant was given to me by a dear friend, and fun fact, it did get this long about this time last year, but then I chopped it off and I gave my friend a propagation of the plant that they gave me. So that was very cool. And, you know, sharing is caring. But this is like Rapunzel right now. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your Monstera. But yeah, I just need to propagate this, make the plant more full. But other than that, I'm obsessed. I love the way the light hits this and everything. It has like a satin look to it. Like velvet. I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to say holographic. I just love it. It's such a unique plant, and I still have my little mushroom in there. The next plant that I have is the elephant bush. Doesn't it look so healthy? It's thriving. Look at all that green. Funny how I mentioned in the first plant tour that this was given to me by someone who I no longer fuck with. And now it's dead. As you can see, I put a little skeleton foot in there. That was for Halloween, but I've kept it in there because it's just so fitting. This does make me sad though, because if you saw the first plant tour, you'll see that this is now in a slightly bigger nursery pot. It's such a cute size, but I repotted it. It did very well. It started thriving, shooting out new shoots. I was watering it had the same lighting conditions, and then out of nowhere, it just started dropping leaves, curling in. It's unfortunate, huh? But a plant that is doing very well and that has grown so much is my air plant. I know she's looking a little crispy right now. I do need to water her, but comparing this to an entire year ago, holy cow, this looks like it looks like a different plant. There's been so much growth, so many little shoots are sprouting out. It's just so cute. And I'll throw up some B-roll. You might have seen it before, but I have been keeping it in a little glass vase thing that I just thrifted because it no longer fits in that little beaded hanger thing that I made That's very unfortunate because it's so pretty, but it's just too big and too heavy for that now. So she do be growing, but now that is the perfect spot for it. It gets so much more light and it can like actually spread out. So I think it's a much better place for it now. I do still have the beaded thing hanging. There's nothing hanging from it though, but I'm very proud of that. I made that by myself. But yeah, the reason why this is finally growing so much is because I've been watering it. This is another plant that I neglected because it's an air plant. I just thought that, hey, it barely ever needs water or anything. It just needs air. No. Sigh. But to water this, I water this not even once a month, maybe once every 2 months. I don't know. Whenever it just starts to kind of curl in like that, look a little bit crispy, it doesn't quite have a smooth little bend to it. It's very kinky. That is when I know when to water it. And I will just fill a shallow bowl full of water, put it in upside down so the water is not quite covering the root, but all of the leaves are submerged. And then depending on how crispy crunchy it's looking, I will keep it in the water for 12 to 24 hours. That might seem like a lot, but this plant just loves it, and it thrives after a good watering. So it's doing very well. I'm very proud of it, and I'm excited to see how much more this thing will grow. The very next plant that I have and that I'm so excited to share is the kalanchoe. In the first plant tour, I said that this was given to me by someone who thought that it was a different plant. Maybe there are flowering kalanchoes and kalanchoes that don't flower. I'm not quite sure. This has never budded a flower. I've never seen any blooms, just the beautiful kalanchoe plant. So it's looking interesting right now, and that's because I just chopped off all of these octopus arms. It was as big as an octopus. I'll show you the before photo, but holy cow, this thing was taking up so much room and it just needed to be chopped. So there are 8 different plants in here. These are all separate plants that I put in here, and I chopped each and every one because they were so long, and now, oh my god, they are all growing new leaves. So I think they're gonna each grow like, I don't know, like a hydra? Is that like the thing you chop off one head and then it grows 2? The thing in the Hercules movie? But anyways, I'm so proud of it. Each and every one is just thriving now with a bunch of new shoots. It's crazy. And then in the middle here, each and every one of these guys is growing their own baby. I'll throw them in better b-roll so you can actually see, but holy cow, these things are shooting up. They look so healthy, and I'm kind of debating if I should remove the center big leaves so they have room to grow out. I'm probably gonna do that, but yeah, I'm so happy with this. It is thriving. It's so healthy. Again, this is another plant that I just want to, you know, like I understand cats when they want to bite plants, you know, but this thing is so healthy. It's so like waxy, as you can see that shine there. I'm just obsessed with this plant. And because I propagated it, I didn't want to get rid of the propagations, you know. I want more of that beautiful plant. So I stuck them all in water. And as you can see, hopefully, each of those little nubs right there, that is where more leaves were growing out. It was just so much, and that would have not been good to keep them in the water. Maybe, I don't know. I just didn't have room for all of them. I didn't want to deal with them. So I gave, no joke, about 5 dozen leaves away to someone. So hopefully they're doing good now. But yeah, I'm just so happy with this, and I see little tiny roots growing, and I'm just so excited to have yet another kalanchoe plant. And again, these are all doing so healthy. I see new leaves almost every single day. I love this plant. And I guess I can show you now when I mentioned the rubber plant, I think, and how I propagated that. I do have a little bowl of propagations. Some of them are looking gross, but the others are just thriving. I don't want it to fall, but I'll throw up a little B-roll. Here is my little propagation station. I have some of the ZZ leaves in there. One of them is looking okay. The other, it's not gonna make it. This, it looks so gross now. It's turning purple. That was a cutting from the rubber plant. And I just thought, hey, if I put the stalk in there, maybe it will continue to grow. No. Yeah, no, it didn't. But that's okay. I just wanted to try. But I did put another rubber plant leaf in there because all the other ones I just have propagating in water. So I wanted to try something different. So I stuck the leaf straight down in soil. I've been spritzing it with water every day, and it feels so healthy. I don't know if it's growing roots. A hawk. But I don't know if it's growing roots, but it is very healthy. The color is good. It feels good. I don't know. I hope it grows. And then I also have some kalanchoe propagations in here. I have 2 leaves. One of them is looking quite iffy. The other one is looking rather healthy. Hopefully those make it. If they don't, that's okay because I did put 4 tiny little stalks of the kalanchoe in there, and I just noticed today that they are growing leaves. I wasn't expecting it after seeing how bad the rubber plant looked. Like that's gross. But oh my god, they're like growing leaves. Each and every one of them. This is so cool. Why does this thing smell sweet like syrup? I don't know, but I'm so happy with this. And if you have plants that you're trying to propagate and you don't know if they're gonna make it, I think putting them in a group together just gives them even more good vibes and they can cheer each other on. That's what I'm thinking. So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, I don't know, but I'm happy with what is working. In the first plant tour, I showed some succulents and I didn't know what they were back then. I still don't know what they are now. I don't know, every time I try to do a image search, I go on plant apps, I post in community groups, stuff like that. People just don't like to answer, or they're really mean, or I just don't get an answer. So I originally thought this was Burrow's tail, but looking at Burrow's tail, ain't no way. I don't know. But this thing is thriving. Like, look at that. Beautiful, gorgeous. I have a few propagations from the same guy in 2 other pots. One of them is doing very well. The other, it's just little leaves and literally nothing has happened. No growth. But they aren't dying. So I think that's another plant that I'm just gonna get rid of. I don't have the time and energy and patience for it. And TBH, I don't really care for succulents that much anymore. Sorry. But I know there are tons of people who love succulents, so these will be going to someone who will know how to care for them and love them, and hopefully they will thrive. One plant that I am very excited to show today is the Christmas cactus. I literally just found out about a week ago that this is not a Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter crab cactus. There's like a dozen more names. It's just a Christmas cactus. That blew my mind. There are different kinds. So, I have a Christmas cactus and I love it so much. This time last year, I did see some flowering buds. I haven't seen any sign of that, which is kind of sad. However, this thing is thriving. Let's do a comparison from a year ago to now. Like, hello, look at all the growth in the middle. That's just wild. This thing is growing like crazy, and obviously it's reaching out very far, so I've been trying to like bonsai it, I don't know, just to reshape it, and it seems to be working well because now all of that is growing in the middle. It's finally filling in and it looks so healthy and so good. It's still in the same pot. Again, I learned that this should not have too much soil so that all the water just sits in there, you know, because that was the main reason with this plant before. It had too much soil, too much water, it had root rot, it wasn't doing very good. But now it is, and since then I have propagated that so many times. That thing grows like crazy. So I do have this little baby guy. There's probably like half a dozen little shoots that I just put in there, and they are all doing very well. I have this sitting right by my window. It doesn't get direct sun, just very bright indirect sun, and I think that's perfect for it. I only ever water these when they feel limp. So when you feel them, feel the leaves, if they don't feel sturdy and strong, they're kind of like wrinkly looking, that's when you water it. But this doesn't need to be watered very often at all. But like I said, I propagated that giant one so many times, and I've given away so many plants from it, and supposedly they're all doing good. So that's good to know. So I do have some new plants that I'd love to show you, and this is one of them. It's so cute. It's a spider plant. I accidentally wrote snake plant in my notes, but that is a snake plant. This is a spider plant. Again, it has that beautiful variegation on it. It's just gorgeous. I don't know if you can quite tell here, but those are roots growing at the bottom. But yeah, you can grow these things straight in water, put them in soil. I'm just gonna keep mine in water until the roots really start to grow. But I'm so I'm very happy with it. I've had it in this cutesy little jar for about a week and a half now. It seems to be doing very well. I have it in bright indirect light. I haven't changed the water. I know it looks kind of yellowy, but I just learned that you really aren't supposed to change the water unless you need to. It's like moldy algae, gross, whatever. Some algae is good though. I'm learning so much every day. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that they don't even change out the water. They just add more water when it gets low. Also, I've heard people putting a little bit, just an eensy little bit of hydrogen peroxide in there that gives a lot of oxygen to the plant and can help clear up some of the murky grossness in there. But it's doing very well in this yellowy water. So I'm just gonna keep it as is and just wait for more growth. I think it's already grown within the week or so that I've had it. Like, it's very healthy. Ew, 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 there's a fly flying behind the camera. So with other new plants that I have, if you saw part 1 of eco-friendly DIYs that make a difference, which I do plan on making many more of those, I did share a lot about plant propagating, especially with vegetables. For example, lettuce. When you buy your lettuce at the grocery store, you have this bottom part that you just, well, most people typically don't eat this. So I have it in water. It's looking like really yummy water, right? I just want to... There is a lot of healthy green growth. I know you can barely even see it. I'll throw up some B-roll, but it is growing. Like, I actually see growth. Slay. But in Eco-Friendly DIYs Part 1, I propagated celery, and that has been growing in our garden all summer long. The bunnies ate it, but hey, it was still growing after they ate it. I personally have not eaten any bit of that celery because it belongs to the animals, which is totally okay. I just think that's awesome that something that you could buy from the grocery store that would just otherwise turn into waste can still grow in your garden and can supply food to animals or to humans if you wish. So that's awesome. Also, I did the same thing with carrot tops. So we bought a bag of giant carrots. Obviously, we're not gonna eat the heads. So I took them, I put them in water just like I have this right here. The little carrot tops out the top, and oh, Olive, little baby, hi. Anyways, with the carrots, I had them in water. They were growing new little floofy sprouts out the top. They were growing roots. I'm like, my green thumb is looking like Shrek's right now, okay?
Really, really?
So I planted those in our garden. They continued to grow. They had new shoots out the top. The bunnies ate them, whatever. But it's so awesome. That is, unfortunately, every plant that I have. And I will have even less because goodbye succulents. Oh my god. And goodbye ZZ plant. I'm not dealing with her anymore. But anyways, I mentioned in part 1 of this that I received a few dozen nursery pots for free secondhand. It was amazing, and I mentioned that I had so many that those would last me a decade. I have about 10 left right now. I've used them all for plant propagations. If there are like little tree saplings growing that I just want to get rid of, little seed sprouts, you name it, they go in those nursery pots and they are off to someone else. Now that the holidays and the gift-giving season is among us, plant propagations are the way to go. I'm telling you, it's very personal, it's secondhand, it's sustainable, and you're giving someone something that you spent your own time on and your green thumbs worked on, so that's very cool. And in turn, you're giving someone else that you care for the joys and benefits of having a real live houseplant. I love plants so much. Did I save it already? Because I love plants so much. They make me so happy, and whenever I just feel so womp womp and I feel like jumping into the trash compactor on the Death Star, I just look at my plants. I touch my plants, I feel my plants. Sometimes they smell good, they smell fresh and clean, and I just... And if plants don't work, then luckily I have my beautiful girl Olive to keep me company and give me love. But yeah, but thank you all so much for joining me today for my updated plant tour. I had so much fun filming this and learning about all my new plants and mourning the ones that I lost. Not that I had fun doing that, but whatever, you know what I mean. All the plants that are thriving, I am so excited to see their growth and how much more growth they have, you know? I cannot wait to part with some of these plants and have even more room. Not for more plants, I just need more room. I barely have any surface area at all. It's all just plants. So, but after all of that, I truly want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm so glad I got this done. I love putting off videos and making myself stressed, you know? So I got it done. Also, I am currently filming Vlogmas. I've only ever done it 2 times before this, and yeah, I'm excited to do it again. It's snowing, it's winter, it's December. If you enjoy plants and if you liked this video, then please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will have my first plant tour linked down below, and you can check that out to see all of the before and afters of these plants. It's wild to see the growth or lack of it. I hope everyone has a super beautiful, peaceful, uplifting, lighthearted, loving, caring, joyful, magical, wonderful, and fabulous holiday season. And for those who are affected by winter depression, like me, plants are so lovely. They are so lovely. I feel like screw winter, you know? Not really, but like plants just make it feel a little less gross. And if you made it this far, I would love to know which plant piqued your interest the most, or if there were several. I want to know. For me personally, I think it's one of the Dracaenas, the snake plant, the spider plant, that has to be Dracaena too, right? But also the dragon plant, the giant dragon plant in my secondhand driveway pot. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep going on and on. I don't even know what to say here, so I will see you on my next live stream, either on Tuesday for a relaxing stream, or on Fridays for a more action-packed gaming stream, or I will see you on my next video, which is probably going to be Vlogmas if it's not already out. Thank you for joining me today. Be sure to like and subscribe and turn on my post notifications. Have a gorgeous day. I'll see you later. And here's a special little treat. Maybe, I don't know, if you're like me and you love to pick at stuff, this ponytail palm has had a little wax cap on the top, and I didn't know what that was for the longest time until I researched it. And then I found that because they chopped it, it prevents like deterioration, bad stuff happening to the plant, but it also stumps the growth. This thing could have kept getting taller and taller, but no, that's unfortunate. However, I've always wanted to pick it off, And now that it's dead, and now that I filmed the plant tour, I can finally do it. Let's find a good area. I thought that would be like a satisfying, just like pop off, you know? Okay, so I guess not. But what's really satisfying is that I can get rid of this now. I can get this out of my room. I will be saving the steel wool because obviously it's steel wool, nothing's gonna happen to it. And then I can reuse it for another troublesome plant. Hopefully I don't have to, but I'm not gonna throw it out, you know? Oh my god. I'm about to get one of those sticky little yellow things and I'm gonna put them all over my room. I can't. Oh my god, that's like one of the downsides of plants. Well, also just not knowing how to take care of your plants mainly, but oh my god, the bugs. Ew.